Coming up on News 11, alumni return to Fredonia for an Air Force concert, a Tennessee plant suffered a deadly explosion, and Phase 1 of a ceasefire in Gaza has been signed. All this and more, News 11 starts right now. Good evening and welcome back to News 11. I'm Lily Hauer.
And I'm Jenna Polito.
We have a lot of exciting stories to cover, so let's get started with your local news. Two Fredonia alumni who now serve in the U.S. Air Force are returning home for a special performance this month. Technical Sergeant Michael Aiello and Master Sergeant Hillary Grobe, both graduates of SUNY Fredonia School of Music, will perform with the Air Force Concert Band and Singing Sergeants in King Concert Hall on Thursday, October 16th at 7 p.m. The performance is free to the public, but tickets must be reserved in advance. Aiello, who joined the Air Force Band in 2022, and Grobe, who began her service in 2017, both credit Fredonia for helping shape their musical careers. Grobe saying on their experience at Fredonia, quote, "My time at Fredonia taught me how to connect with people through music, and that's something I carry with me in every performance," end quote. And with Aiello adding, quote, "It's an honor to return to the place where my journey began and share what I've learned with the next generation of musicians," end quote. The concert is part of the 2025-2026 Lakeshore Bank season at the Rockefeller Arts Center, and it is sponsored by The Observer, the Post-Journal, and the radio stations WDOE and KIX.
This past week, two of SUNY Fredonia's women's soccer players were honored by the State University of New York Athletics Conference, also known as SUNYAC. Freshman goalie Casey Fretzner was honored for the second time this year as Defensive Player of the Week. Her first time being honored on September 19th and again on October 6th. Fretzner helped the women's team pick up 2 wins defending the net and over 1 week had 19 saves and 3 goals given up with 180 minutes of playing time. Junior offensive player Bronwyn Madden was also honored with Offensive Player of the Week on October 6th. This is also her second time receiving this award after being honored last year. She is currently leading SUNYAC with 7 goals for this season and is helped by scoring 2 goals in both of their recent winning games. Madden scored twice within the first 7 minutes of play against last year's SUNYAC champion, New Paltz. The team hopes to defend these titles as they are currently playing SUNY Cortland tonight.
On Sunday, October 12th, the annual food drive for Fredonia's Presbyterian Church's pantry kicked off for another year and will run through October 25th. This year, under a new name, Fill the Fred Basket, previously known as the Feeding Fredonia Challenge, the rebranded donation drive continues to collect non-perishable food donations from the local community. In an effort to raise money, drop-off bags and yellow flyers will be posted throughout the town to encourage donations. Donations of rice, pasta, cereal, canned items, and dry milk are encouraged. Those wishing to donate perishable or frozen foods can get in touch with volunteers directly. The communities of Fredonia, Arkwright, Pomfret, and Sheridan have formally announced Fill the Fred Basket Days as a way to express their support. Every Wednesday and the third Saturday morning of every month, the pantry is offered to anybody living in the 14603 zip code. For local community members in need, Fill the Fred Basket is an essential resource.
The Village of Fredonia had another lawsuit filed against them. A group known as Save Our Reservoir is suing the village over decisions made by the Board of Trustees. On September 10th, the board made the decision to share water with Prompt Fruit and disable the dam and reservoir. This group claims that the decision does not comply with the state's SEQRA, or State Environmental Quality Review Act, and general municipal law. The lawsuit was filed by a Buffalo law firm, which alleges that the board did not provide a 30-day comment period in regard to SEQRA. Buffalo law firm also claims that the board had failed to provide a reasoned elaboration required by SEQRA. The village's assessment for its proposed water project, quote, identifies multiple potential impacts, but dismisses them with concursory statements, end quote. Due to the lack of data and analytical depth, the negative declaration was inconclusive.
On Saturday, October 11th, a minivan drove off of a cliff on Madison Avenue and Beachview Inn Drive, Silver Creek, in the morning. The van landed on the beach near the two roads and was later towed. The Chautauqua County Sheriff's Department responded to the incident and later found the driver. The driver appeared to have walked away from the scene.
Last week's Bills game against the New England Patriots sparked an unforgettable, heartwarming experience between Bills Mafia fans. Tanya Zeidler and her husband stumbled upon an older gentleman limping as they were leaving the Bills tailgate. She stopped and asked if the man was okay and noticing his difficulty walking. After speaking with him, he revealed that he was visiting Buffalo for the first time with his son from Toronto as a birthday gift. He also noted that they could no longer attend due to his injury and that his son was on his way to pick him up. Zeidler offered to buy the tickets from the pair so they could regain some of their losses without knowing where the seats were located. The gentleman then informed the couple that the seats were front row and sold them for much less than what they were initially worth. Zeidler said, quote, "He tells me that these tickets are front row tickets. I about had a heart attack," end quote. The couple was used to sitting in the 300 section for Bills games, so they reflected on how different the experience was being so close to the action. After their encounter, the Zeidlers expressed their gratefulness for this opportunity and how kindness runs deep in the Bills Mafia community.
Thanks to the Buffalo Clinical Lab and Testing Center, people involved in the criminal justice system may no longer need to wait days in court for their drug test results. Buffalo Clinical Lab is operating the first in the nation drug testing facility inside Buffalo City Court, delivering results to judges in as little as 10 minutes. The process makes it easier for participants who usually would have to wait to make multiple trips with long wait times. Lab technician Mary Bennett said, quote, "A lot of times people come here and get tested, and by the time they get back to court, the results are already in for the judge," end quote. The program has already saved an estimated $2.7 million for court participants, resulting in reduced incarceration rates, fewer missed workdays, and faster court proceedings. The company is already planning to expand, setting its sights on rural areas in Western New York, and working to bring access to communities that lack nearby testing facilities.
The Ralph Wilson Park has invited professional landscape and maintenance vendors to pitch qualifications for the year-round care of the park. Ralph Wilson Park is located in downtown Buffalo next to its waterfront. The park is currently under construction and will be opening in phases, starting with the first phase, opening as early as summer 2026. The park is looking for vendors that have, quote, "demonstrated experience, technical capacity, and commitment to working in partnership with the Conservancy," end quote. Conservancy, which is managing the construction of Ralph Wilson Park, is looking for a partner that will further fuel their mission, which is, quote, "to create a safe, vibrant, accessible, and inclusive waterfront park for generations to come," end quote.
Buffalo Niagara International Airport is facing flight delays due to federal staffing shortages. On October 10th, early morning flights were delayed as staffing shortages created long lines at check-in areas. Though families who arrived later in the day experienced much smoother conditions, there were still thousands of people who experienced disruptions nationwide. According to TSA, the government shutdown could worsen security conditions if it continues. Though conditions are bad as of now, the TSA spokesperson expresses hope for better conditions in the future. And while the delays make travel harder, TSA claims that, quote, "despite this challenge, we will remain vigilant and focus on performing out vital security missions on behalf of the American people," end quote.
A Niagara Falls staple is soon saying goodbye. George's Appliances, a family-owned business that has served the community for 92 years, is in the midst of its final retirement sale. The store, which first opened its doors in 1933, has been owned and operated by 3 generations of the Milanovich family. Owner Mark Milanovich, who started working at the store at just 14 years old, has been running the business alongside his wife Linda and daughter Michelle for the past 3 decades. He says the decision to retire wasn't easy, but it's time. The business has been known for its personal service and loyal customer base. many of whom have been shopping there for generations. For customers like Judy Lasota, the closing marks the end of an era, saying, quote, "It's just hard to see them go. Everybody feels the same way," end quote. As the Milanovic family prepares to close up shop, they're grateful for the customers who kept their doors open nearly a century and proud of the legacy that they've built. Mark saying, quote, "We feel great about what we did. We took care of a lot of people's problems and at the same time made a living, so we're happy," end quote. The retirement sale will continue until George's Appliances sells their remaining items in their inventory. And when we return, we will have your national news stories. We'll be right back.
To Sofia and Gabriel, mis flores, my little flowers. Even though these old knees can't follow on your adventure to the forest today, these flowers represent my love, so you can take me with you wherever you go, near or far. These stitches and threads join us together. Me, your mother, and both of you. And wherever you see a flower, a bird, a beautiful tree, know that my love is with you as you bring our colorful stories to the world.
Make the forest part of your story at a park near you. Find one at discovertheforest.org.
There was an old woman who lived in a shoe. She had so many children, she didn't know what to do. She gave them some broth without any bread.
Most of my family, they never graduated high school or even let alone go to college, so I'm trying to break that barrier. Every day after work, went straight to school, studied hard, and it paid off. I could not have done it alone. I see the future is really bright for me. The high school diploma is just added to the confidence, and now I feel unstoppable.
Find free adult education classes near you at finishyourdiploma.org.
Did you know dragging chains can spark a wildfire?
Only you can prevent wildfires.
When I was in foster care, I never knew when I would have to move, so I always had my suitcase ready to go. Then one day, I was adopted. My new parents opened their hearts and home to me. My parents cook my favorite breakfast for me every morning. My parents take me on trips I never thought I would go on. They gave me a home and an even better reason to use that suitcase. My parents aren't perfect, but they're perfect for me.
A massive blast at a Tennessee explosives facility this past Friday has left 18 people dead or missing. The explosion occurred early Friday morning at 7:45 a.m. at the factory known as Accurate Energetic Systems, which manufactures military and demolition explosives. Authorities called the blast, quote, "a mass detonation," end quote, which was felt as far as 15 miles away by residents near the factory, and debris was scattered over half a square mile from the facilities. There are fatalities, but a death toll has yet to be declared, as authorities and officials are working to determine who was in the factory at the time of the explosion. Authorities are also working to contact some of the next of kin employees who were believed to be inside of the building at the time of the explosion, and are conducting analysis of nearby cell phone towers to determine who was inside the building. Humphreys County Sheriff Chris Davis, who is currently working on the scene, described the aftermath of the explosion as, quote, "the most devastating thing I've ever seen in my career," end quote. The FBI is now working with investigators looking into what may have caused the explosion, as this tragedy is felt by all in this close-knit community. The blast left 3 minor injuries where they were taken to TriStar medical facilities, 2 of which have been released and 1 person is still receiving treatment at an emergency room. It also shook nearby homes and set off smaller explosions, according to local officials. Friday evening, Accurate Energetic Systems called this, quote, a tragic accident, end quote, making a statement on Facebook where they said, quote, our thoughts and prayers are with the families, coworkers, and community members affected by this incident. We extend our gratitude to all first responders who continue to work tirelessly under difficult conditions, end quote.
At least 1 person was found dead and 2 reported missing in the village of Quy-Gilligok, Alaska, in western Alaska after a ferocious storm whipped through the coastal cities. The storm, known as Typhoon Ha Long, was reported forming a month ago in the northern Philippine Sea and just avoiding Japan as it crossed the Pacific Ocean and entered the Bering Sea this weekend, before causing extensive damage on the coastal cities of western Alaska. This storm generated wind gusts of over 100 miles per hour, caused major flooding where water levels reached up to the 14.5 feet, which caused homes to be shoved off their foundation, leaving thousands of Alaska residents displaced. According to the Alaska Division of Homeland Security and Emergency Management, 1 woman was found dead, and the search efforts for 2 missing men in the area have been called off as there's currently no sign of them. Alaska State Troopers spokesperson Austin McDaniels said in a statement, quote, if new evidence or credible information emerges about the location of the 2 individuals, we will immediately reassess that information and deploy appropriate resources to investigate and respond, end quote. Dozens of people have been rescued from their homes in the village of Quy-Gilligok and Kipnuk, and more than 1,000 people were displaced to shelters, where dozens of evacuees have been moved to a shelter in Bethel, the largest city in western Alaska, with officials considering moving residents to more long-term emergency housing in cities such as Fairbanks and Anchorage as they begin to run out of space. The devastating effects of this storm are felt as forecast efforts were hampered due to the lack of weather data caused by the Trump administration's cuts to federal agencies, such as the National Weather Service, where there's now a significant gap in the weather balloon coverage in western Alaska. Both the village of Quy-Gilligok and Kipnuk are feeling the effects of the storm extensively, with McDaniel saying, quote, both communities experienced strong winds and heavy flooding overnight, which caused significant damage, including at least 8 homes being pushed from their foundations, end quote. And Mark Roberts, the head of State Emergency Operations Center, saying, quote, we're doing everything we can to continue to support the community, but it is as bad as you can think, end quote.
The matriarch of a prominent South Florida family was sentenced to life in prison on Monday after being convicted in the murder for hire of former son-in-law Daniel Markle. Last month, after a trial that lasted several weeks, Donna Adelson was sentenced to life in prison without the possibility of parole for first-degree murder, with an additional 30 years for conspiracy and solicitation. Markle, the ex-husband of Adelson's daughter, was in the middle of a harsh custody battle when he was gunned down at his Tallahassee home in 2014. Adelson swore she was innocent, painting her trial as a miscarriage of justice plagued by years of negative media coverage, saying, quote, what happened to Danny is unforgivable, but I am an innocent woman convicted of this terrible crime. Without evidence, end quote. Circuit Judge Stephen Everett interrupted Adelson's statements several times to warn her that her remarks showed a, quote, utter lack of remorse, end quote. Adelson joins 4 others who were sentenced for the plot to kill Markle, including her son Charles Adelson, who is also serving a life sentence. Donna Adelson was portrayed by persecutors as the controlling matriarch of a prominent Florida family with the necessary connections and motive to plan and carry out a plot to kill the former son-in-law that she hated. Adelson's defense attorneys argued that there was insufficient evidence to link the 75-year-old to the murder, and instead suggested that 2 of her children may have had a larger role. Wendy Adelson, Donna Adelson's daughter, and the ex-wife of late Daniel Markle, has denied involvement and has not been charged.
An impactful nor'easter has hit the mid-Atlantic and northeast coastline Monday morning, causing coastal flooding. A nor'easter is a large-scale extratropical cyclone, specifically originating in a low-pressure area within 100 miles of the shore between North Carolina and Massachusetts. Monday's nor'easter has caused at least 3 reported deaths. The storm has disrupted air travel at major Northeast airports and has led to devastating floods in South Carolina. A voluntary evacuation is in effect in Bowers Beach, Delaware, and Governor Kathy Hochul of New York has declared a state of emergency in 8 counties across the southern part of the state. Portions of North Carolina Highway 12 were closed, and the Department of Transportation warned drivers that travel is dangerous in the Outer Banks. These 45-mile-per-hour winds will continue to beat against the coast as the storm moves north. However, they reportedly began to subside Monday night, with wind advisories dwindling as the storms pushed away from the coast. Once the storm pulls away from the coast, it will leave behind high pressure, dry weather, and decreasing winds.
The rise of investors looking for safe havens in their investments has caused the price of silver to raise about 75% in this year, also causing the increase in the high demand and the supply deficit for the metal. Silver futures was traded in New York, growing 7% this past Monday, which in turn caused the asset to raise in the price in $52.63 per troy ounce. This surpasses the former peak set in 1980. The real-time measure of silver value, known as the spot silver prices, hit a record of $52 a troy ounce, which has not been valued at over $50 since the 80s. Investors have turned to putting their faith in what is known as hard assets such as gold and silver to the unstable nature of the political and economic climate in the United States. Silver has been rising in value since it is seen as less expensive, reliable, safe haven compared to gold. Since investors are buying up so much silver, the industry as a whole has been in a structural supply deficit for 5 years, with central banks relying less on the value of the dollar. The price of gold has skyrocketed as a safe haven investment. Silver is not the only hot commodity when it comes to precious metals. Platinum also currently up 75 to 80%.
Major U.S. airports from New York to Oregon and North Carolina to Nevada have refused to play a public service announcement from Secretary of Homeland Security Kristi Noem at security checkpoints, in which she blames Democrats for the federal government shutdown. TSA checkpoints often include videos featuring government officials welcoming travelers and explanations of procedures, but they usually do not contain political messages. Airport officials have cited a variety of reasons for refusing to play the video, from its political content to a potential violation of federal law. Passengers at Albany International Airport in New York were shown the video briefly before the airport authority took it down. Matt Hunter, Airport Director of Communications, said in a statement, quote, "The footage in question was placed on the monitors by TSA personnel without prior notice to the Albany County Airport Authority or airport staff, in keeping with long-standing policies of not displaying political messaging or content of any kind. ACAA has made the decision to discontinue airing the video," end quote. And when we return, Erin Malone joins us for the first time, and we'll have our first look at weather. We'll be right back.
No time, just sign on the line at the post office for Selective Service.
Hey guys, if you're about to turn 18, you've got to register with Selective Service. It's simple. Just go down to the post office, fill out a card, and turn it in. That's all there is to it. There's no draft now. You're just adding your name to Selective Service's list in case there's a national emergency.
So if you're 18 now, Selective Service, you gotta get down.
Register with Selective Service. It's quick, it's easy, and it's the law.
Takes no time, just sign on the line at the post office. Selective Service.
When you think of the local lowdown, what do you think of?
Well, when I think of the local lowdown, it's the live music that we have played in the studio.
It's got to be the laughs we shared. The memorable moments during the whole thing. Oh my God, so fun.
The local lowdown for me is the people behind the scenes, the amazing team that we have making the show.
Oh, it's gotta be exploring all sorts of genres and music I've never heard before.
Oh, easy. Going out to shows and talking to artists and getting the latest news on what they have planned for the future.
It's about these artists, man. Giving them a platform to showcase what they've worked so hard on and show their music to the community. It's all about supporting the local scene of music to keep it running for years to come. And of course, the band merch. You can't forget about the merch.
We're now joined by Erin Malone, who will be giving us our weekly sports update. What's going on in sports, Erin?
Thanks, Lily. Here at home, Fredonia sports have been seeing some success. Women's volleyball swept all 3 sets against Buffalo State with a 3-0 win. Junior Kylie O'Brien worked hard, knocking down 17 kills, and Olivia Boswell had 17 assists. Women's soccer fought for a 1-1 tie against an unbeaten Buffalo State, with the lone goal scored by freshman Casey Mosher. On Saturday, the team traveled to Oneonta, winning an impressive 4-2, with 2 goals scored by Gabby Irwin, Grace Mackey, and Anna Rutchuk, and Brownwind Madden. Both Devil teams are home this weekend. Volleyball faces SUNY Canton on Friday at 6 p.m. and soccer battles SUNY Potsdam at Saturday at 1 p.m. It has been a disappointing week for Buffalo sports. On Monday, the Bills fell to the Atlanta Falcons 24-14. Falcons running back Bijan Robinson matched a career high with 170 rushing yards and gave Atlanta an early 2-touchdown lead with the NFL's longest run of the season. After a bye week, the Bills will be back for another NFC South team in Carolina on October 26th. The Sabres started their season last Thursday, falling 0-4 against the New York Rangers and have yet to tally a win. We hope to see them win out tonight as they are currently facing the Ottawa Senators at home. And now I'll toss it back to Lily for our weather forecast. What do we have for us, Lily?
Thank you, Erin. Today was a sunny day with partly cloudy skies and a high of 57 degrees. As we head into the evening, we will see those clouds disappear and drop down to a low of 42 degrees. Thursday, we will see about the same, with sunny skies throughout the day and a high of 56 degrees. Going into the night, we will see some clouds appear in the sky as we drop down to a low of 42 degrees. The weekend will heat up a bit, so stay tuned. And when we return, we'll have your international headlines. We'll be right back.
This one's for the real ballers and shot callers, the Sisterhood of Women in Tech. They're discovering cures, building apps, and programming the blockchain. They're CEOs, worldwide hustlers who can make it rain. They're tearing down the old boys club and seeing big gains. Because when women in tech come together, you know they make that change.
Every day,
millions of people are connecting.
And even though we're overcoming obstacles,
watching each other's backs,
and banding together,
we should still make an effort.
We should still make an effort
to get to know each other
on a deeper level. Father,
cosplayer,
mentor,
actor.
It's time we take a step forward.
It's time we take a step forward.
Come together
and discover
how accepting our differences
can make us stronger.
How prepared is your family if a hurricane shows up at your doorstep, or a flood, or a blizzard? You can't just turn away a natural disaster. That's why it's important to go to ready.gov/plan now. It has the tools and tips you need to make an emergency plan with your family. So if disaster comes knocking,
let's go.
You'll be ready to help keep your family safe.
It's just a pizza.
Yes!
Make a plan today.
President Trump has pushed for a successful negotiation for a ceasefire in Gaza. It was announced late last Wednesday that representatives of Palestine and Israel signed off on the first phase of a ceasefire. Included in this plan is the releasing of all hostages and prisoners, the retreat of Israeli troops, and the allowance of aid into Gaza. Those in Israel rejoice at the prospect of being reunited with hostage family members. Those in Gaza reunite with family members as well, but they are cautiously optimistic as they are not confident that Israel's attack will completely cease. Just as celebrations began, reports came in that there are still bombardments in Gaza City. Many Palestinians have expressed fear for the future, with Gaza Strip still lacking hospitals, food, schools, and home. Hamas and Israel are believed to still hold hostages. Civilians affected by the conflict have expressed their support for any person who advocated for the ceasefire. While some Palestinians make their journeys to their hometowns, they've been warned by Palestinian and Israeli authorities to wait for official notice.
The President of France has reappointed the former Prime Minister only days after the Prime Minister resigned. The current political turmoil and government collapse in France is what led to Prime Minister Sébastien Lecornu to resign. However, French President Emmanuel Macron, after accepting his resignation, brought him back. Lecornu was heavily criticized for his first cabinet that he appointed and is facing scrutiny for his next appointed cabinet as well. Other world leaders are watching closely to see how the assembling of the cabinet and the passing of the budget goes over.
Pope Leo XIV denounces the economic mistreatment of migrants in his first major text. Pope Leo, who was recently brought into the papacy back in April, has written his first public text which focuses on those in poverty. While the text did not target any specific people or governments, it condemned the system made to keep migrants in poverty. Leo has stated, quote, "Unjust structures need to be recognized and eradicated by the force of good, by changing mindsets, but also with the help of science and technology, by developing effective policies for societal change," end quote. Later in the same writing, Pope Leo calls out those who defend the current state of the economy and those who say it is a free market, saying, quote, "There's no shortage of theories attempting to justify," end quote. It should be noted that Pope Leo is the first pope to come from an Italian-American family, specifically a family that migrated to America without a lot of money. While he has condemned many for making the system worse for the poor, Leo has met with leaders in the Chicago workforce who helped with immigrants. And after the break, a look at the late-night talk show host with Stephen Colbert ending, Justin Trudeau's pursuit of Katy Perry, and an update on Dolly Parton. We'll be right back.
Most of my family, they never graduated high school or even let alone go to college, so I'm trying to break that barrier. Every day after work, went straight to school, studied hard, and it paid off. I could not have done it alone. I see the future is really bright for me. The high school diploma is just added to the confidence, and now I feel unstoppable.
Find free adult education classes near you at finishyourdiploma.org.
Late-night talk show host Stephen Colbert announces his plans after the end of The Colbert Show. Last July, it was announced that The Colbert Show would be ending in May of 2026. It is unknown the exact reason why CBS is pulling the plug on the late-night talk show, but it is speculated it is to make room for new shows. However, this is not the end of Stephen Colbert's acting career, as he plans on making many new roles. The most exciting show he has announced to be casted in is the new Star Trek Starfleet Academy show on Paramount+. Colbert will be taking the role of a digital dean of students teaching the next generation of Starfleet pilots. While he is mainly known for his own show, this isn't his first acting role, as he was even in the 2013 film The Hobbit, The Desolation of Smaug. It's safe to say that Stephen Colbert will not be disappearing anytime soon from the entertainment industry.
Pop star Katy Perry and former Canadian Prime Minister Justin Trudeau have been hitting it off. The singer, who is on the road for her Lifetimes tour through December 7th, and the politician were initially linked in July when they took a stroll with a dog and grabbed drinks at Tavern Atlantic in Montreal. They also stepped out for a dinner date at Montreal hotspot Le Violon at the same night. 2 days after their night out, Trudeau was spotted at Perry's Lifetimes Tour concert at Montreal's Bell Centre, according to a picture shared on social media. After first spending time together in Montreal, Trudeau, who has been pursuing her ever since, a source tells People magazine, saying, quote, "He even flew to California to see her during a tour break. They have an easy connection. She finds him attractive, and he's been very respectful," end quote. Most recently, the pair were spotted kissing on a yacht off the coast of Santa Barbara, California. Although things are seeming to be heating up, neither Perry nor Trudeau has yet commented on the status of their relationship.
Famed country music icon, actress, activist, and humanitarian Dolly Parton posted a video to social media on Wednesday to clear up rumors that have been going around that the singer is ill. Dressed in a red and black fringe top, the 9 to 5 star added that she, quote, "wanted to put everyone's mind at ease because many seemed real concerned, which I appreciate," end quote. Parton went on to acknowledge that she's had some health problems health-wise, which had mentioned last month when she canceled a series of December concerts in Las Vegas. Fans were on particularly high alert because the call for prayers came soon after the death of Parton's husband, Carl Dean, in March of this year. The death of the long-term spouse has been associated with illness and even death in the surviving partner. She continued, quote, "I appreciate your prayers because I'm a person of faith. I can always use the prayer for anything and everything, but I want you to know that I'm okay," end quote. Parton was set to perform 6 shows at the Coliseum at Caesars Palace in December in her first Las Vegas residency in more than 30 years. Those concerts were rescheduled for September of 2026. Now we're going to pass it over to Jenna one more time tonight for the end of our weekend weather. How's it look, Jenna?
Thank you, Lily. Friday, we will have a mixture of clouds and sun throughout the day. We will see a high of 61 degrees and a 15% chance of some showers in the evening. As we head into the night, we will see those clouds continue as we drop down to a low of 49 degrees. Saturday will warm up quite a bit with a high of 72 degrees. We will see sunny skies in the morning that will turn into some clouds into the evening and night. We have a 24% chance of seeing some showers as we drop down to a low of 59 degrees. And Sunday, we'll see a very rainy day with clouds all day. We'll have a high of 67 degrees and a 59% chance of rain showers in the morning, taking us all the way into the night where we'll drop down to a low of 48 degrees. So be sure to pack an umbrella for your Sunday plans. And that's all we have for your weather this week.
Thank you so much, Jenna. That does it for News 11. Thank you to our behind-the-scenes crew, and we'll be back next week.
And as always, thank you to everyone watching at home. Have a great night.